Hey, welcome into another Mystery Fifth Hour presented by McCurry Van and Car Rental, along with Rockstar, Lance Taylor, Jim Dunaway. I'm Ryan Brown. Great to have everyone along. Obviously, McCurry Car and Truck Rental, Van and Truck Rental, gets you the trucks, SUVs, passenger vans. They're tough to find right now.
Yes, they are.
They make it easy to rent, helping you get in and out fast. Locations in Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, and Coleman on 2nd Avenue Northwest. Call and reserve your rental today, 256-559-1003, or visit McCurryRentals.com, McCurryRentals.com, or 256-559-1003. LT was just out of town. McCurry was not local, and boy, he has a headache.
That was the problem. I was in Mobile, and I had to drop a car off to my daughter, so I had to find a way back. There's no direct flights, and so I had to do a rental, and one-way rentals are really difficult. I was talking to Brown about it, and if McCurry would have been down in Mobile, it would have been easy fix.
That's right.
I had to go to Enterprise, $238 for a rental. Then I had to put gas in it, so I spent $268, and I was in the car for 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours.
That's a pretty good turnaround for them. You don't get that at McCurry Van and Car Rental. Go to McCurryRentals.com, McCurryRentals.com. You're normally there to point. Dunaway's not doing his job.
He's not. He's.
I know.
Hey, why don't y'all switch places?
Because he was sick. I was trying to be good for you, coughing right at you. So.
I want a team player, dude. So I'm just going to get used to
I
it.
know. So
No,
why
but
would you do that for Lance and not me?
You're looking that direction.
Cough can still go this way.
Yeah, Kurt, you got
Back into the
you got the
left.
Fernando Valenzuela cough.
Back into the left.
Fantastic.
My topic is, so I used to be a big fan of the movie Michael Keaton, Multiplicity with Harold Ramis.
Still never seen it.
It's a great film where he's such a busy dad at work, can't be with his kids, so he decides to make a clone to do the stuff he doesn't want to do. So if you had a clone of yourself, what would you use it for? Now keep in mind of the paradox of well, he'll just do the shows on Friday so I could go out. You have to remember your clone only remembers what he was cloned to do. So if you clone him today, he has all your memories from today.
So I'll give you an example. If Maggie had a clone, she would use it to bang you.
Yeah.
Right.
So if I've got my clone at work, though, I have to be closed up in my house, right? I can't be out playing golf or whatever.
No, you could somewhere else, but the thing is, Brown number 2 has to know what Brown number 1 said to Dunaway yesterday because you're being filled in. Remember when you said yesterday on the show, and he'd be like,
what a pain.
So you use it for mundane tasks like going to the DMV, going to the doctor.
Right.
I don't know what you could use it for to not be, because you'd have to prep it so much to realize, all right, this is the conversation I have with this person. You got to go to this dinner party for me. This is what they're going to ask you, because you're not privy to all that information.
But if my clone goes to the gym for me, do I get the workout benefit?
No.
Because that's where I start.
Yeah.
We're going to need you to do some more squats there.
I'm going to need you to hit those abs a little harder
Put that
today.
fucker in there for 12 hours a day.
Yeah, it could be cool to have him do a rigorous diet for 6 months and work out, just let me see
What I would look like.
If I did this, if I actually put in the effort to it, what would it exchange?
At that point, I'd be stuck with Maggie's clone, and Maggie would be with my in-shape clone.
Yeah, I don't want to pull a 100 like Brown over there, but I don't know if I would use this. It seems like such a pain in the ass. And those mundane tasks that you talk about, how often do you really do them? Once every couple of weeks, maybe?
Dude, you would have that thing on our show every day. We would never see real you again. We'd have to somehow mark you for real just to see,
big
is this
2?
real LT?
What am I going to do every day? You act like I don't like doing the show. I come in with energy. I come in with a smile on my face.
You do, man. You do.
A smile on my face.
That might have been a little far. I'll give you the energy, the smile on your face.
I don't smile?
You do. Especially, you smile a lot more now. For sure.
Anyway, that's fine. I don't know. The dentist, colonoscopy.
Oh, he does smile. This is not the real one.
Colonoscopy, yeah.
You'd use it for the colonoscopy?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I check mine every other day.
But see, I'd want the doctor checking the real me out. I don't want him checking the clone out.
Have you guys ever heard of people that shit in the box to use for their colonoscopy? Did you really?
Well, it's not in a box. It's like Lance makes it sound like a...
No, it just seems like it would be a little inaccurate. Look, I didn't like doing the colonoscopy, but I figure if I can do it once every 10 years and be done, I'm good.
Cologuard is the company you're talking about, and they send you a little... Now, I told Jennifer, I said, it's really kind of demeaning, to be honest with you. Do you want me to walk you through the whole process?
Please. I would like to hear. Yeah.
Don't you smear it on there?
Because I'm going to assume your clone would have done this, right?
Well, I don't know if I could trust my clone, but does he have the same exact health as me?
You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
I don't know. That's a roll of the dice right there. So they send you a box, and you open the box, and it's got almost like a cylinder in there with a real tight screw top.
Like a thermos?
Oh, it's bigger than that, though. It's like, I mean, it's like a big bowl. And it's got a contraption that you put underneath your toilet lid, and you put that down in there, and you sit on it and go.
It's like you shit in a crock pot.
It's
So
a
you
catch-all.
send them your whole bowel movement?
Yep. So then
Wow.
it's got this thing of liquid that you pour in that. So you take that, right, and you pour the liquid in there. I don't know what the liquid does, but you pour it in there, and then you close it up tight. I mean, it screws tight.
And what if you don't have
And then you've got
if you don't have a clean shack?
And you've got the then you've got a little test tube that's got a little. This is what you're talking about. It's got a little wand in it, and you pull the wand out and you rub it on there.
Oh.
Good. Oh, it's no fun. And then you put that back down in the test tube that's also got liquid in it and close that tight up. And then you put all that back in there and you ship it back to them. Now, as I told my wife, there are probably some bad jobs in the world, but there is somebody where I ship that has got to open that
Oh,
thing.
God.
with my poop.
What-
in it.
I'm so-
I mean, what a terrible job.
So what are the benefits?
Football Saturday, he's got Fiesta soup.
Oh, God.
Is it just the fact that you didn't
it
want to have to
tests-
deal with the prep?
It tests markers. It just keeps you from having to go to the doctor and deal with all that. Yeah, it tests markers for colon cancer. And then it'll alert you back, you know, you need to go see. And even if it
Can you
doesn't,
sue them if they miss?
you know, I would assume you can sue people for anything.
You read my shit wrong.
You can, it doesn't like come back and say, hey, you've got colon cancer or something like that. It just comes back and says,
That's abnormal.
yeah, it's abnormal, go see a doctor. And they even tell you, like, because you have to read the whole thing, they even tell you if it says it's abnormal, this does not mean you have cancer. It just means, you know, we can't 100% rule out you don't. I think that they can, like, the response can either be normal or abnormal or whatever it is. I can't remember exactly what the wording was.
How'd you do?
I passed.
Do you have to go to the post office and drop it off and everything?
My wife did that for me. She boxed it up and everything. I mean, I closed up everything tight and put it there, and she boxed it up.
Put
and said-
fragile and stuff like that.
I just can't imagine though. Can you imagine? I mean,
You
maybe
don't end up with fingerprints all over the place, do you?
I mean, maybe there's like a
Ooh, homemade fudge.
God. Maybe it's like there's a machine that extracts all that, but can you imagine that being your job?
Well, you have
Like
to put
every
it
day
in-
you have to
No,
untwist this
you
and
think about like
God.
some of the people. Like I would assume like Mark Mangino's shit smells worse than other.
I would
shit.
have to imagine, yeah.
Yeah,
Lance,
full
I
But
gagged.
I do a little 1 and 2 at the same time. I don't
No,
like
you
eat all
can't.
my. I don't eat all my fries and then eat all my burger.
Like a bird, you
I'm a
do
one
both
and
at the same time.
yeah, I'm a one
Package
and
is leaking when you take it
I'm
out.
on one
Can't.
and 2 at the
It's
same
impossible. It's impossible. You can't do that. Not
So
the way
my-
it's constructed.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So
I
one.
defy the
No,
odds.
you'd be pissing on the wall while you shit in the crock pot.
So one is shooting one way and it's
No, it's just I'm just saying the
You
way
don't
it's
have
designed,
room.
you can't do both. It's impossible.
So I can't do one, or you're telling me it won't
Unless
go
you're
into
a
the
tucker.
container.
Right,
Do you
it's not
tuck
going to go
ever?
into the container.
Okay.
Yeah, even then, I don't think you could do that.
Okay.
I'm just telling y'all.
Okay.
Anyway, that was-
By the way, can I justify
So-
why the reason I'm drinking straight bourbon?
Well, I was going to say real quick though. What was I going to say real quick? I can't remember. Oh no, I gagged at least 3 or 4 times, like on my own.
Oh my God.
Like it's my stuff and it's gagging me. Not necessarily just the smell, but the idea of it just gagged me.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like doing that every day. Like here comes the conveyor belt, woo, and it stops in front of you. And you have to and that's your job all day. How do you go to lunch? Like how do you eat lunch after that job? I can't imagine that job.
Since 1992 national championship game where we had to do our editing in a hotel room, and we had separate hotel rooms, but the edit bay where we were all editing, we had the edit equipment set up, was next to my room, and I went and took a good New Orleans sit down after lunch one day. And I went back into the edit room, and they were like covering their mouths. They're like, "My God, we can smell you in the other
blown
room."
away. That's embarrassing.
Ever since then, I have never been able to go on road games anymore around anyone.
I'm going to apologize for bringing this up. I just said that my other
Clone.
being, my clone would have gotten a colonoscopy.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Anyway,
now,
there's
why are
a-
you drinking bourbon?
because we
It's
just
not Lance's
recorded-
clone, clearly.
Typically, we record Bama Bourbon on a Tuesday, but because I was out of town, we're doing it today. So I already recorded it, and this is just my leftover that I brought in here. So anyway,
so
just
Lance
wanted to-
doesn't have a problem.
I typically don't, on Wednesday afternoons drink bourbon.
Yeah, I was going to say my clone, like I didn't understand all the rules. So I was going to say, like, I would find events I don't want to go to and just send my clone, but it's going to be obvious I've sent my clone.
You have to prep them. That's the thing. Like
Yeah, I
they
don't
have
want to go
know
to that
some
much
stuff.
trouble. So I'd probably just do mundane tasks like blow the leaves, like, you hate your neighbor.
But you
doing
can
it.
hire somebody to do that.
I can, but my clone's for free.
Where are you going to keep them too?
How
So you
expensive
Huh?
was
got to keep them away from your family. Where do you keep them?
Oh, I didn't know that. I got to have from my family
When
too.
they find 2 dads around and 2 husbands around, it's going to be a problem.
I don't have anywhere to keep
No,
him.
you're right.
yeah.
Pool, leaves. I mean, this.
Yeah, but this is a bigger problem than it's
Manual
worth
labor.
if I've got to hide him and fill him in on all this stuff.
The funny scene in elementary school when the kid walks in, I've got 2 dads. Me too.
Yeah, not exactly. Yeah, I mean, I guess my name task, but now that you've put it the way you've put it, I don't think I'm interested. I'm going to pass.
I don't want to
to
clone either. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Is it a good movie?
It's a funny movie. It's really good. Well, the problem is he clones himself, and he has a number 2.
Spoiler alert.
He clones himself up to number 2, and then finds out, well, damn, I'm not getting it. I can get so much more if I had a 3rd one.
Yeah.
Well, if you clone it again, there might be a little bit of difficulties. It starts the DNA starts getting messed up.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the original, you're not as good as the
It's
original.
a copy of a copy.
Copy of a copy now.
And so they do the 4th one, and the 4th one's just all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting to have them all living in the guest house and stuff like that.
If you could clone anything, what would you clone?
Money. Be great to have money. It's a little clone
I was
machine.
talking about a person, but
Or on a Grande.
or a. Okay, so are you only
kidding.
Ariana?
No.
Somebody in the chat.
Solo?
Somebody in the chat room when Lance was out the other day said, "I love how LT hates Taylor Swift but loves Ariana Grande."
That's not true. I like
and
Taylor
we're
Swift.
like, buddy, it ain't about the
Yeah.
music.
She sings too.
By the way, I like both of their music.
Yeah. By the way, I'll go ahead and answer it for him. He would clone Sean McVay.
Oh
No.
yeah.
Not
Oh,
this
he's
year.
lost a few games. Look at
I'd
it. He's lost a
probably
few games.
clone Lady Bird.
Like, but would you wait until late in
So
Lady
sad.
Bird's
This is gonna be
life
so sad.
and clone her so that you're guaranteed to have another one?
No,
when
I'd
Lady
go,
Bird
I'd go
dies?
on and clone her, and then I'd clone her again.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But it gets worse. It's a copy of a copy. So all of a sudden now it's not going to be one of the 2,000 fastest dogs in Birmingham.
Yeah,
She's gonna be like a little
I know.
OFF.
I'd
You're going to say, here, Lady
You're-
Bird,
you're
she's
gonna-
going to run the other direction.
I'd wait 4 more years.
You're going to pull up your app and you're going to, we've lost some foot
Yeah.
speed.
A-
here.
As
What's
we
happened?
record this, she turns 4 tomorrow.
Yeah.
So are you starting to think
No.
too far down the road now?
There goes Dunaway.
Well, I'm just-
he brought up clones, so I'm just saying if I.
But earlier in Trash, when we were recording this, we had a pet throw
Taxidermy
rug.
dog.
Yeah, and we all instantly said, no, that's out of bounds. And you were like, no, there's no way we could do that for Lady Bird.
Well, I mean, it looks like your dog got flattened on the interstate. You just drug it into your den and put it in the front.
I mean, it's a little morbid to begin with, but then when you see the look, it
Yeah,
does
it was
look
a
like
bad
a
look, wasn't it?
steamroller. Fucking.
Yeah.
Not good.
Okay, so my topic, you want to reset?
Hey, let me
our
reset
President
here.
McCurry?
It is McCurry Van and Car Rental. McCurry Van and Car Rental. They bring you the mystery 5th hour. Listen, rent from McCurry. They've got the local rental company, so you're depending on local people, not people from somewhere else, right? They have all kinds of vehicles to choose from, including trucks, SUVs, and passenger vans. They make it easy to rent, helping you get in and out fast. Locations in Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, and Coleman, 2nd Avenue Northwest. Call and reserve your rental today, 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003, or visit McCurryRentals.com. That is McCurryRentals.com.
Okay.
So my topic, the last time I asked this question, I think it was 2014 or 15, the night before the Iron Bowl, or 2 nights before the Iron Bowl. The last time I was on Hey Coach, and it was the final question I asked Nick Saban, and I asked him, what's the last movie that made you cry? I'm going to rephrase it a little bit for us, but he just looked at me, he's like, where the hell do you ask these questions?
I
you know?
guarantee he's never cried in a movie.
I don't know about that.
So
So
I'd almost guarantee that.
I would rephrase by saying, what movie was the most emotional film you've ever seen? And there's a couple for me. I start with Finding Neverland, and it's a true story based on the playwright that created Peter Pan, and he befriends a single mom of I think 3 kids, and Kate Winslet plays that mom, and Johnny Depp's the playwright, and man, it's just she gets terminally ill. You assume it's cancer, but just what the kids go through. They throw her because she can't go to the premiere night. They throw her a special play in the house, set it up all as Neverland, and you know the kids know she's about to die. It is very, very emotional. I thought it was a really good movie too. And the first movie I took the roommate to see was Manchester by the Sea.
Couldn't finish it.
Holy shit!
Or it's like his house burns down.
Wait, so it's been 6 years, so spoiler alert, if you
Casey
haven't
Affleck?
watched it, yeah, Casey Affleck won Best Actor for it. He leaves the house to get some beer, and his kids are in the house asleep. Log rolls out, burns the house down. When he gets back, all his kids are burned up. And there's a scene with him and Michelle Williams after the fact because they get a divorce, and he runs into her like 2 years later, and she's got a kid from a new husband, and they have this just heart to heart that is just, it's literally heartbreaking.
So that was the mom, Michelle Williams?
Yeah.
Oh, and she went on and had another kid too?
Had another kid, and he is completely broken, and he never really has any redemption. And
Jim McCurry right here, just on the description.
oh,
Well, I cry all the time.
no, it would make you bawl. It was so sad, and once you get immersed in a movie like that, you forget it's a movie, and you're like, man, I'm watching an emotional train wreck. Anyway, those were the two for me that jumped out.
Well, mine was, I think I've said it before, but I've only seen it once. It's a terrible movie, but Cuba Gooding Jr., Anthony Hopkins, Instinct. It's about a guy, Anthony Hopkins is a gorilla scientist that researches gorillas and everything. He leaves his wife and kids to go to Africa to study these gorillas. And he decides I'm just going to live here. I'm going to live here. And somehow, Cuba Gooding Jr. is an investigator. I can't remember how it connects. I've only saw it once. But Anthony Hopkins decides to live with the gorillas and the silverback and everything. They form this big circle. You're not allowed in the circle. 3 weeks goes by, and he wakes up in the rain one day, and like he's finally included in the circle. And
So the gorillas have accepted Anthony Hopkins.
They don't eat with him or anything, but
And why wouldn't they, Brown?
yeah. He's got his hair all grown out and everything.
Sir Anthony Hopkins.
And so there's another scene where finally this mother gorilla, out of nowhere, she's nursing her baby and looks at Anthony Hopkins and just gives it to him. And Anthony Hopkins starts crying and everything, and then literally 2 seconds later, poachers just kill all the gorillas.
Except for the one Anthony Hopkins is holding?
I think he got that one too.
Oh, okay.
And Anthony Hopkins freaks out. and everything.
Anthony Hopkins somehow survived.
Pretty good shot. I guess it's like a Kevlar vest.
So Cuba Gooding Jr. has to go. I can't remember how.
The gorilla took the
but the
bullet.
thing is, he has to investigate because they bring Anthony Hopkins back and they think he's insane, and so they put them in this insane asylum thing. And there's a basketball court where there's their rec time, and this horrible prison guard guy, the guard there, says every day we're going to draw cards. Whoever has the ace of spades gets 10 minutes out in the sunshine. And it's this one big, huge guy that always beats the hell out of everybody. Who's got my ace? Who's got my ace? So people are banging their heads on the wall and everything. And one guy has an ace. He always pisses himself, and the guy steals it. And it's like, I got the ace. So finally they go outside, and it's just this little box that you can see 15 feet ceilings, and there's this teeny tiny little sunlight that they see out. And that's one of the saddest movies I've ever seen. It wasn't a great movie, but Instinct, Cuba Gooding Jr.
Did you cry?
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, the gorilla thing, because to finally accept him, and then the mother just all of a sudden almost sighs and just gives him the baby as she's nursing. He's looking at I've finally been this is my life's research, and I finally
See, I'm
accepted it.
taking notes here because that seems like something I don't want to see. But the roommate thinks that everything I show her is a train wreck, so I might put that on, zone out, do some picks, read for the show, come up with some topics, and just let her watch that just for the reaction.
Wow. Well, Instinct. It's probably from 2000, maybe. I can't remember.
Okay, so that's a recommendation. Recommendations for you guys?
I've got two. I don't cry a whole lot. I think we talked about this as a show not long ago. My wife, she and I have been together 30 years, estimates she's seen me cry 3 to 5 times in our life.
Was one of this in
two
one
of those were the birth of our children. Okay. So that knocks 2 out right there that she can absolutely remember. Other than that, she's not certain. But I'll get to me, crying and being emotional is just getting a lump in my throat and having to fight it back down. That would be crying for me, right? A couple movies that came to mind when you asked this. Number one, Sam I Am with Sean Penn. I Am Sam. I'm sorry. Sam I Am is the Green Eggs and Ham. I Am Sam. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Nope.
Sean Penn, Dakota Fanning. He works at Starbucks and he's intellectually disabled.
Yeah. I hear he's not really good in the role.
Oh, he's phenomenal.
That's what I heard.
I thought he won an Oscar. He was nominated for an Oscar for it.
Yeah. Oh, he's phenomenal.
I know. I'm pretty sure he's nominated.
I don't know the list of Sean Penn movies I've watched and liked. Yeah. I think that might be the best role I've ever seen him in. And Dakota Fanning.
Better than Spicoli and Fast Times?
Dakota Fanning is his daughter, and the court's trying to take her away from him. And she loves him, and he can't comprehend what the court's doing. He's intellectually disabled, so he can't comprehend why would they want to take her away from me. I love her, and she loves me. I put a roof over her head, I give her food, And it's just heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking, man. I mean,
Damn.
yeah, it's a good movie.
that-
I can't believe you've never seen it.
I've never seen it. It kind of reminds me of The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah, a little bit.
When which you get happiness the final 2 minutes. That's when they find it.
Yeah.
But when Will Smith, he's got to jump on the bus to be able to get to the shelter for the night, and his kid's got one toy. It's a Captain America, I think.
And he drops it. Yep.
And Will won't let him go back to get his toy, and that made me cry.
Well, you know what? Yeah, that part didn't make me cry. I tell you what choked me up in that one was when they're asleep in the bathroom and the guy's trying to get in and he's having to. His son's asleep, but he's having to sit there with his feet against the door.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, can you imagine having to sleep in a bus station bathroom?
Yeah, but imagine
that's
if-
what your life has become.
if-
And your son trusts you enough, he can go to sleep on you, but you can't sleep because you got to protect your son.
We have gotten so conditioned to just taking everything for granted, I guess.
Yeah.
But imagine if your kid had one toy in their life
I know.
and was homeless every night.
Yep. But he knew he was going to miss the room and the food to go back and get the toy. I mean,
know.
he had to make a parental decision. That's a
did.
tough one. 36% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I would have missed the
For I
room
Am Sam.
and the food. I think I would have been.
No way.
I probably would have.
You've
though.
probably never slept on the street either, so you probably don't know.
I have different circumstances.
Yeah, I'm good.
Woken up on
Yeah, but sleep and pass out are two different things. The other one is, I'm not a huge dog person, but my dog Skip,
I stopped in the middle because I knew where it was going.
the last scene will kill you.
I can't even.
You're a dog person.
Yeah.
Like, don't watch the last
Is
scene.
it Kevin Bacon? Is he just a dick? Is he the one that causes that, or is it something else?
No, the son, spoiler alert, the
Frankie
son.
Muniz.
Yeah, Frankie Muniz has grown up and he goes off to college. And he leaves and goes to college. Now, as I remember, it's been a while since I've
He
seen
doesn't
it.
leave the dog, does he?
Yeah, what's a family dog? I can't take a dog to college. You're going to have a dog in a dorm room? So he leaves and goes to college. And I think, as I remember it, the dog, like they show the dog watching him leave. And he goes back in Frankie Muniz's room and he's trying to get up on his bed. And he's too old. And so the mom comes and helps him up on the bed and that's where he dies on the bed.
Oh, God.
That's the last scene. Buddy, that one, I'm not a dog person and it tore me up.
God.
Yeah, don't watch that.
Yeah, like I hadn't seen Marley and Me.
I've never
I
watched
saw Dog twice because of the way it ends.
that. Good ending?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was going to be really bad, but it ended up good.
I've got nothing compared to those. I've got absolutely
You
nothing. I
cry all the time.
I cry over everything. So there's nothing special to me. I cry
you
all
got
the
that
time.
hokey ass notebook.
I cry over everything.
Give me the one that makes you cry every time.
Well, the first time I ever cried at a movie was Brian's Song way back in the day,
Yeah.
and sports fans remember Brian Piccolo, but that was the first time I ever cried.
That was a sad movie.
Yeah, that was the first time.
Just the speech, the say a prayer for Brian Piccolo.
Oh yeah, when Gail Sayers breaks up and says,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But I cry at Rudy. I cry when
How do you cry at Rudy?
when everybody
wild
starts
man
walking
now?
in and putting their jerseys down for Rudy.
Oh, that's a feel good moment. I wouldn't cry.
Oh, I'm so emotional. It's like being accepted into the circle, man. Everybody's putting there, and you look out the door, and the line's all the way down. If you don't cry,
you know they
Rudy,
really didn't do that though.
I don't care. They did in the movie.
Most of that movie is probably.
I'll tell you how
What's the
emotional.
5'6" defensive end that has a sack at the end of the game?
Vince Vaughn didn't play for Notre Dame?
Oh, by the way, he didn't throw that pass. Did you know that?
No. Who did?
So it was funny, and not to interrupt
No,
you,
it's okay.
but on the Manning cast the other night, Vince Vaughn was on during the Bears game. He was awful, by the way. I don't know if he was just like.
I read a lot
bunch of
about that. Was he
edibles.
just-
it
yeah.
was, it was really awkward.
Yeah. So he was
That laugh.
smashed.
Yeah, I mean, or on edibles or whatever. But they said that in that one throw, that was not him.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, you've got one throw to make. It's not that
So
difficult.
Rudy
makes
but he said the problem was the director. It was during a Notre Dame game, so they had to rush him on
they
the
had to
field
get
at
it done
halftime.
right, yeah.
They had to do it right, so it was a one take.
That's
And
weird that
they didn't trust him.
I knew they did that in a Notre Dame game, but people at Notre Dame hate that movie because it's made a legend out of this Rudy guy, and it's so overblown. And it's like puts him above Notre Dame. You know, how Notre Dame.
But you know, I went to one Notre Dame game.
I don't think he's accepted that much there.
But when he was there, and
Was he?
like, yeah, he was like in a leather jacket, and there were people like coming out and get pictures made with him.
I would imagine so. But I even cry. That's so emotional that when the Newsroom, the HBO series from a few years ago, reenacts a scene like that because he had brought up Rudy earlier in that episode, and at the end they have a Rudy-like moment on paying something that this guy had written a big check for, and everybody in the newsroom wants to contribute, but they're not a multimillionaire like they had Anchor. So one person walks in and says, listen, it's not a lot, but please let that go to the, $250,000 you paid to get a hostage out of Africa here. Let that go to that.
And then the next person walks into the room and says, it's not a lot, but here, let that go to that. And then he gets up after the third one, looks out, and the whole newsroom is lined up all the way down. They've all writing checks to a little bit at a time. That teared me up even. So those type
I'll
of
get
moments.
choked up like you. It's so weird when you said hostages. I was thinking of the movie Argo, really, really good
Yeah, it's
movie.
a good movie.
When they make the announcement that they've crossed out of Iranian airspace, and just the relief you see in them, that chokes me up. I mean, stuff like that will choke me up. I don't cry, but I can feel it, lump in my
That's
throat.
based on a true story.
Oh
too.
yeah, that's a fantastic movie.
So have you guys ever gotten more emotional about a sporting event? I bet you have, than a movie.
No.
Like a sporting event than a movie?
Like I've only kind of shed tears one time at a sporting event.
I cried. I
I
cried.
think when you were a kid, you probably cried all the time over.
Well, I
Bama.
cried when Alabama lost to Notre Dame. I was really, really little in '73. Didn't cry much after that because they haven't lost much.
Jimmy Bama.
I was working kick six, or I would have cried if I was a kid. But I cried when the Bucks won the Super Bowl with Brady. That was an emotional time in the world, the pandemic. I cried when we came back from the pandemic and played in full stadiums. I texted Brown during the jump around
The
of the
jump around
11
Wisconsin
o'clock
game, yep.
Wisconsin with the All-American girl. She was jumping around, and Joel and Gus were jumping around.
That was weirdly emotional.
I was
Yeah.
sitting at home bawling. Maggie's
no,
like,
no.
what the hell's going on up there? And I said, we're back, baby. We're back. I mean, I'm tearing up right now. I'm getting chills.
Dunaway's
We're back.
right. Do you remember that?
I do remember it.
No, I just remember it was just this release of emotion,
Yeah.
and it just felt so normal again. I got choked up too. Klatt said he couldn't talk for like 3 or 4 plays being there.
And Maggie explained it. She came up and brought me some tissue. She came up and explained
Here's
it
a
to
roll.
me. She's like, you guys every day during the pandemic for 377 days tried to be happy and acted like not that the pandemic wasn't going on, but in your show every day, in your show prep and stuff, you guys were always trying to do things normal, not like the pandemic. And she was like, that was you releasing everything you've kept bottled up for the entire pandemic.
I think that's true.
On your show.
Yeah.
You just finally grieved the pandemic right here in the middle of a Wisconsin game upstairs in our condo by yourself.
Yeah.
I still haven't grieved it. Have you?
No, I've just.
Well, I don't think I've ever been back in your basement, have I?
I don't think so.
That basement, unfortunately, will always hold some dark memories for me, as dark as I get. And that's not your fault.
We're
man.
trying to change that one Saturday night at a time right now. You don't look happy on Saturday nights anymore.
That's true.
Y'all kicked me out last Saturday.
I didn't.
We're gonna wrap it up quick. You ain't got to worry about it this Saturday.
That's
I'll be out of
right.
town.
No. We did the show, for those that don't know. We had to leave our studio, and we were supposed to be in separate places, but we all ended up in Lance's basement doing
We
the
gave
show.
him the double burns and we got
Except
together
for
anyway.
Rockstar, who, had to stay back at the station.
Yeah, magically couldn't catch COVID,
Yeah,
so he got to
Rockstar
go to the
was
station.
Rockstar
Yeah.
was COVID-free at the station.
Yeah, I had to do it every day.
So we had to do the show from Lance's basement, and that was the darkest time of my professional career, and it is unfortunately associated with your basement. I'll come back. I'm not saying I won't come back, but I remember that. I don't remember that fondly.
I
at
am
all.
going to look at another house tomorrow. So.
Good. I'd like to
Are
hear
you
about your
really?
basement sometime.
Good for you, man.
Well, I don't know if that's good for
Things are
me.
picking up, Jim.
Good
My
for
man Jack ain't gonna like it, but
Yeah. You got a good house, and it's not your fault. It's just that was a dark time, man.
no,
gotta admit
you
that was a dark time.
associate. I mean, if you're at a great restaurant and the person you're with that you love chokes out over dinner, you're probably not gonna.
No, you're right about that.
Yeah.
But here's the sad part about it. I need to get past this, because while there was a really dark time in your basement, the idea for this was birthed in your basement. It was during that dark time that we all had the
Push,
idea to do
Rockstar,
this.
push.
No, I'm serious.
It really
though.
was.
It was
Yeah.
in Lance's basement and those crappy dark times where we started discussing actually doing this. So I need to get past it, because there was actually happiness that came out of it. See, that's the thing. Happiness can come out of the darkness. Sometimes light can come out of the darkness. Right?
Studio B is what we called it.
Huh?
Studio B is what we
We
used to
did call it Studio B. All right, McCurry Van and Car Rental has brought you this strange journey that we call the Mystery Fifth Hour. If you need a car, truck, or van, trucks, SUVs, passenger vans, McCurry makes it easy. They help you get in and out fast. Locations in Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville. Call them in on 2nd Avenue Northwest. Call and reserve your rental today, 256-559-1003, or visit McCurryRentals.com. That's McCurryRentals.com. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up for this. Make sure you've subscribed and set your alerts on YouTube. Like us wherever you are. Follow us at Next Round Live. Thanks for joining us on the Mystery Fifth Hour.